Hi, everybody. We all know that Donald Trump endorsed Ken Paxton yesterday. And those of us who know and who've been, involved in this for a while, we weren't shocked. We weren't shocked that he endorsed Paxton. Paxton has always been his man. Hi, y'all. I'm Dorothy Burton, and I'm glad you're here. And I talk about politics, faith, and power from Texas to DC. I am based in Texas, and a fifth generation Texan, and we're going to talk about Texas. And going forward, now that I'm done with my book, Jesus 160, I'm going to give a quick plug for my book, Jesus 160, How He Led Will Change How We Lead. You can get it on Amazon and Kindle. Anywho, back to why I'm doing this video today. Now, we knew that Trump was going to endorse Paxton. As a matter of fact, let me share something with you, because I am going to tell you what the strategy is going to be going forward. But before I do that, I have to prove to y'all my bona fides. Because see, I am a fifth generation Texan. I was a Republican for 40 years in Texas. As a matter of fact, I was a Republican longer than Talarico had been alive. I think the boy ain't but what, 36? He turned 37, 38. Yeah, I was a Republican for 40 years. I know him. And it didn't take me long. I had to watch a few videos, but then I figured out that I know exactly how they're gonna come at Talarico. And y'all see I got my Talarico stuff on, because going forward, y'all, it ain't no sitting on the sideline. You're gonna have to make a choice. And like I said, I was a Republican for 40 years. Conservative Republican in Texas. I know the players and I know the game. So when Trump endorsed Corning yesterday, my people weren't shocked, because let me show you. Way back in, let's see which one I'm going to show you. I'm going to start with this one. This was me back in December or January. Somebody asked me, was I serious about Paxton over Corning? Heck yeah. Because Paxton is the MAGA's man. He's the MAGA man. The MAGA man. And if you've been in Texas as long as I've been in Texas, some of y'all remember John Cornyn hadn't always been no MAGA. Judge Cornyn was once a decent man when he was Judge Cornyn. Even as senator. Even Jasmine Crockett has said that this Cornyn that has turned now all of a sudden into MAGA, he is pseudo-MAGA. He is not MAGA's choice. Ken Paxton is. Because John Cornyn came on board late. John Cornyn's record is clear as long as he's been in Texas, going all the way back to when he was Judge Cornyn, and some of us remember that. He was a fine gentleman. He was. But, he's turned like the rest of them turned. So, but when it comes down to him and Paxton, Paxton is, he bleeds MAGA. Cornyn doesn't. Even though Cornyn is a more, when you look at him, more decent man, he ain't been through all with Pac. But it's just, look at Trump. Paxton lined right up with the MAGA men. So yeah, Paxton is gonna be the guy. Yeah, like I said, that was back, I think, in December or January, and I said Paxton is gonna be the guy. Like I said, listen. I know these Republicans, and it does not matter the three eyes when it comes to Ken Paxton. That did not matter. The indictments, the impeachment, the infidelity, that didn't matter. That does not matter today. At one point in time in Texas, that would have been a kiss of death. But this is no longer the Republican state that it used to be. See, it's no longer the George W. Bush kind of Republicans. It's no longer the moral majority kind of Republican. It's no longer the business conservative kind of Republican. It's the Trump kind of Republican. Let me show y'all another one. See, I got to show y'all this. So when I tell y'all how Paxton is going to come, Paxton is going to win Tuesday. No doubt about that. I've been saying it for a year. So it is a foregone conclusion already that Paxton's going to win. Wait, let me get to this right here. See, yesterday when Trump endorsed him, this is what Trump said. Trump said, John Cornyn is a good man, and I worked well with him, but he was not supportive of me when times were tough. Trump said, John was very late in backing me in what turned out to be a historic run for the Republican nomination, and then the presidency, blah, 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 blah. And teasing the endorsement Tuesday morning, Trump said, hey, I had my mind made up for a long time. I've been saying that to my people since last year. Let me try this last clip. And then, see, I got to prove to y'all I know what I'm talking about. Let me show you this last clip. I think this one, let's see. I think this one was back in January. Let me see. I was schooling the people on why it was not going to be John Cornyn. Bipartisan gun control bill, and John Cornyn voted for that bipartisan gun control bill. Remember that? That was under the Biden administration. The Republicans swore that they would make him pay. And Republicans have long memories. They have hard hearts, and they are vindictive. So what we're seeing in this numbers, in this number today, with Paxton being up by 1 percentage point, and Trump playing like he don't know who he gonna endorse, that's a part of their punishment for John Cornyn. So John Cornyn is on punishment right now, and so all the bootlicking, ring kissing, and all that kind of stuff, and changing who he is, and being all this kind of stuff for Trump, it has profited him nothing. Trump said, I don't know who I'm endorsing. Y'all know Trump for Paxton. So Cornyn is just, it's just sad to see a man of his age and the once Cornyn that he was to just go out like this. But hey, that's what MAGA does. MAGA doesn't leave you whole at all. And John Cornyn is finding it out. So yeah, y'all. So see, that was back in, I think, in January. See, like I said, people forget. MAGA don't forget. As innocuous as that gun control bill was, that John Cornyn signed off on, that bipartisan bill, it really did not do anything. But John Cornyn could not support that bill, because that was the bill, if y'all recall, the Uvalde shooting here in Texas, where 19 little kids were killed. John Cornyn what was he going to do? And it really didn't do anything. It was more symbolic than anything. But that doesn't matter with these crazy MAGA people in Texas. It's like, oh, they come for my guns. You come for my gun. All the man did was sign on to a bill that, you got 19 kids dead, parents grieving, and all MAGA is concerned about it. You're going to take our guns. You're going to take our guns. But they have held that against Paxton. Held that against Cornyn. And I said that way back. Yeah, because they don't forget. They don't. So when Trump said he had made up his mind a long time ago, like I told my people who my subscribers and y'all come join us on Thursday night. We have these live conversations on Thursday night. I told my people, ain't no way in hell Trump ain't gonna endorse Paxton. I said it way back then. Because what Trump loves to do, Trump loves to make people, Trump loves to make people grovel. He loves for people to kiss his ass. And he loves for people to be in a position where they need him, especially people like John Cornyn. And why do I say especially people like John Cornyn? Because John Cornyn is not a gutter man. Trump is a gutter man. As a matter of fact, if Trump didn't have money, he'd be poor white trash gutter man. That's what Trump would be. And the only reason why he ain't poor white trash is because he got money. but he still has that mentality. And he hates when he thinks that people think, now people may not think this, but he hates when people think that he thinks that they think that they're better than him. So now that he's in the position of power, now that he is president, and now that he is in a position to make these people who he despises, who he is envious of, but who need him, he is going to make them kiss his ass and lick his boots. And like he said, I already had my mind made up. Ain't no way in hell I was going to endorse John Cornyn. He just wanted to see him grovel. He just wanted to see him do that. And John Cornyn did it. And like I said in that clip a few minutes ago, John Cornyn, y'all, was a man of such integrity. John Cornyn down there from Houston. I'm in Dallas. He down there from Houston. Like I said, I've been a Republican for 40 years. I remember when John Cornyn ran for judge. He was a judge. And the way he carries himself, John Cornyn, I think, is about 6'4", 6'5". He, buttoned down. He looks the epitome of a Texan. And Judge Cornyn carried himself that way with such dignity. And then when he went, I think he went to the Texas Supreme Court, and then he held the position that rat Paxton holds now as Attorney General. And then John Cornyn went to the Senate as the senior senator when Ted Cruz is the junior senator. And that's another story all by itself. Because y'all don't think that just because Ted Cruz and Greg Abbott and Dan Patrick are being so quiet and staying on the sideline, don't think they're not lined up behind Ken Paxton. Ken Paxton got indicted in the House. It was in the Senate that he got acquitted. And guess who runs the Senate? The lieutenant governor. Guess who the lieutenant governor is in Texas? Dan Patrick. Oh, but Dan Patrick being quiet. He and Greg Abbott and Ted Cruz, they ain't in. Baby, all of them are rats. And they are all for Paxton. They always have been for Paxton. And what threw it off, because I had to think about it a minute, because Robert Jeffress, and we know Robert Jeffress is all up Trump's, he pastor. Okay. All right. Robert Jeffress, John Hagee down there in San Antonio, they big Christian pastors, MAGA pastors. And what's his name over there in North Dallas, Prestonwood, Jack Graham, MAGA pastors, all of them Trump. When Jeffries and Hagee came out and endorsed John Cornyn, now not only did they endorse John Cornyn, Jeffries had him down there at First Baptist one Sunday morning, had him and his wife to stand up, and he wanted his congregation to know he was supporting John Cornyn and endorsing John Cornyn. I go, because I knew, even though Trump hadn't said anything, Trump wasn't going to vote for him. He wasn't going to endorse him. And then when John Hagee down there, John Hagee, if you ever listen to John Hagee, John Hagee, he may as well be an Israelite, a Jew. He all up in Netanyahu's beeswax. Okay. So when John Hagee endorsed Cornyn, he did the same thing Jeffries did. Had him down at his church and everything. Had him stand up to introduce him and his wife, just like Jeffries did down there at First Baptist. I go, Then I figured out. See, these evangelicals are hypocrites, okay? They're hypocrites. They put up all this. And it would have been unseemly. But now, see, Angela Paxton is here in the Metroplex. She, Collin County is north of Dallas. All these evangelicals and conservatives, and because I used to be part of it, y'all. They all in the same thing. So it would have been unseemly for Robert Jeffress to not endorse to endorse Paxton over uh, 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 Corning. He couldn't do that being a pastor. Neither could Haiti. Being evangelical leaders and all that, even though they are as hypocritical as they are, they still have to put on that. So pastor, he could, neither one of them could endorse Paxton having all these women. And Angela Paxton already said she divorcing him on biblical ground. That put Hagee and Jack Graham and Jeffries, that put them, in a box, kind of. So what they did was, and this is what they did, they have to make things look good, and they have to make it look holy. So yeah, they endorsed Corning, and I said at the time, okay, they have to endorse Corning because, they evangelical base and all that. And in the meantime, Trump was quiet as a mouse. He wasn't saying nothing. I go, They endorsing Corning publicly. But like I told my subscribers, and like I told my people who joined me on Tuesday night, now on Thursday night, I said, Jeffries and Hagee, they can get up there and have Corning come up there and his wife stand up and all that and introduce him to the congregation. They're going to go right in there in that voting booth and they're going to vote for Paxton. Paxton has always been their guy. Always. So now that Trump has come out and publicly endorsed him, all of them are lined up. Even though the preachers, they have endorsed Corning. Don't get it twisted. Don't get it twisted. They had to do that for show. You see, they had this big thing coming up, this Rededicate 250 and Freedom 250 and all of that. If evangelicals don't know nothing else, they know how to put on a Holy Ghost show, okay? So they had to publicly endorse Corning, but they never was going to be for Corning. They weren't going to vote for Corning. No, because Paxton is the guy. He's always been the guy. And what's so disheartening is to see a man like John Cornyn, a man with such respect, a man who once had such respect. Now, this man is 74 years old. He's been serving for 40-some years, stellar record. He had bipartisan respects. He could have gone out on top, but he didn't. Unlike Trump, when Trump goes out, he's going to go out under the bottom. And that's why he takes such pleasure in demeaning people like John Cornyn, demeaning these Republicans. And they so ignorant and so power hungry and so arrogant. They can't even see how Trump is using them. Trump hates them, especially if they have been men and women like Cornyn, with such respect and such statue. He wants them to heal. He wants them to lick his boots. He wants them to kiss his ass because he takes pleasure in that. Why? Because he has a poor white trash mentality that he don't feel like he's good enough. They always made him feel like he wasn't good enough because he's stupid. He's dumb. He's stupid. Everything the man has gotten, his daddy gave him. He knows that on the inside, he don't measure up. And so now that he's in a position like he's in, a position of power like that, yeah, he's gonna make them. He's gonna make those kind of people grovel to make himself look good, and then he's gonna make them look like a damn fool, just like he's done with Cornyn. But let me tell you what's fixing to happen. Let me tell you how they're gonna come at Talarico. Let me tell you how they're gonna come at Opie. Tell you why I call him Opie, y'all. I told James Talarico, I said, boy, if you don't look like Opie Taylor, I don't know who don't. And then we were at this function. And it took him a minute. He said, Opie, I go, yeah, Opie Taylor. Opie Taylor. Andy Griffin show, he bust out and started laughing. He know he looked like Opie. So I call him Opie, Talarico. I'm going to go back and forth calling that. And I'm saying right here tonight, y'all see my Talarico hat. I ain't making no bones about it. Because it's time to take a stand, Texas. It's either going to be Talarico or it's either going to be Paxton. You take your choice. You take your choice. Even Republicans, even Republicans. And let me tell you what strategy they're going to use against Opie. See, it don't take long to figure them out. Like I say, I was one of them for 40 years. Longer than Talarico, Opie been alive. So if you listen long enough, they always tell you their strategy. And this is how they're going to plan to take Talarico down. This is how they're going to do it. They're going to attack his faith. They're going to make it seem as though he is some weird old guy. They're going to attack his faith, and they're going to attack his lifestyle. His lifestyle. Now, don't be surprised when all these rumors, all these things come out, you know, he gay, he this, he that, and all that. The boy ain't never been married. I don't even know the boy got a girlfriend. Even if he does or doesn't, that's his business. But one thing we know for sure, he's never been married. So since he's never been married, he ain't never cheated on his wife like Paxton. So, you know, they're going to have to come at him that way. They're going to have to sow seeds of doubt as to his sexuality. They're going to sow seeds of doubt as to, how come he not married? How come he don't never see him with a woman? How come he don't have no kids? Those kinds of things. That's what they're going to come to him about. And they're going to come to him about his faith. See, all of that is tied together, his faith and his personal life. And I'm going to show you some clips to prove to you what I'm saying. Because, you know, I don't never come to y'all just telling y'all stuff. I know I sound crazy half the time, but I know what I'm talking about. And then they're going to come at him at his lifestyle. At his lifestyle. Because you know the boy's squeaky clean. I mean, the boy just squeaky clean. And they ain't got nothing on it. All they can do is look and say, pick up on what they can pick up on. Say, he ain't Texan. It's something about that boy. He ain't like us. He ain't like us, meaning he ain't Texan. So they're going to try to sow doubt about his lifestyle and about his faith. They're going to try to say this Christianity that he's preaching is another kind of gospel, because that ain't the gospel of Jesus Christ. You watch what I'm telling you. That's how they're going to come at him. And how I know, let me show you right there. Let me show you right here. Let me show you right here. Let me start with this right here. This is how I know they're going to come at his faith. Watch, I'm telling you. This is how I know they're going to come at his lifestyle. Watch, I'm telling you. Right here.
The president, real quick before I let you go, assuming things go your way on Tuesday, you'll be up against James Talarico in November. If that happens, the very strange guy, kind of a woke religious guy, which is very bizarre in Texas, I would imagine. The president talked about him recently. Take a listen.
The Democrats have a weird candidate. 6 genders, a real hit on Jesus. I mean, this guy is bad news.
I know there's a lot of Democrats in Texas, but are they this brand of them? I mean, are they, like you said, that's very bizarre coastal Washington State, California kind of politics this guy's spewing. How does that work in Texas?
Yeah, the president is not wrong. Once we highlight his views, I mean, they asked him the other day, you know, what does he think about in his spare time? He said, I think about transgender children. I thought, what a strange answer. I think highlighting that for the voters, even Democrats, I think many reasonable Democrats are going to have trouble viewing him as the guy that should lead the U.S. Senate from Texas. I just don't see it happening in Texas once people understand that he is not what they think he is.
Yeah, he's a strange bird. I agree with that.
He's not who people think he is. You see. That was the attack on his faith. Now, they showed part of a clip from Donald Trump where Donald Trump said, oh, he's weird. Got a weird guy down in Texas. Let me show you the rest of that clip, why Donald Trump said that and why I'm telling y'all. See, that was his faith. They're coming at him at his, you see what he said, you know, God is non-binary and all that. They're coming at his faith. And then they're going to come at his lifestyle. Let me show you the rest of that clip that they showed part of the clip of Donald Trump. Let me show you the full clip of what he said.
Texas. I don't want to say that. I mean, I'm looking at it first of all. I like them both. I mean, I'll tell you what I do think. I think the Democrats have a weird candidate. 6 genders, a real hit on Jesus. I mean, this guy is bad news with his mask from relatively recently, and he's a vegan. He's a vegan. All of a sudden, he's not a vegan. He was a vegan. Now all of a sudden, he's not. Texas doesn't like vegans. I do believe either one of them will easily win the race. I think
he's a vegan. He's a vegan. Oh, he's a vegan. He's a vegan. He's a vegan. Y'all, this is gonna be fun. This is gonna be fun. I'm gonna make it fun. Y'all join me on Thursday evening at 7:00 CDT. This is gonna be Talarico Central, because I'm gonna devote a whole lot of time to Opie, because I love Opie. Y'all, I really do. He is the sweetest young man that you want to meet, and the guy that you see is the guy that he is. That has been my exposure to him. He is the real deal, and I make no bones about it at all. Texas, we got a choice. It's either going to be Opie, it's going to be James Talarico, or it's going to be Ken Paxton. And they are scared to death. So they're going to attack the boy's faith, they're going to attack his lifestyle, and they're going to try to make him seem so weird and so not Texas. But let me tell you something about Talarico. Talarico was like 28, 27 years old when he first came to the state legislature. Anybody heard that boy? But he flipped a seat that had been solidly Trump country down there near Austin, where he's from. He's from down there from Williamson County. I'm in Dallas County. I'm north. He's down there from Central Texas, down near Austin. The boy flipped the seat. That's how he got to the state legislature. He's beat Trump before. We're going to beat Trump again. Watch. Thank y'all for being here, and I will see y'all. Hey, join me on Thursday night, and I will see y'all then.